Welcome to take two of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh Crawler. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going? Crawler coming at you.
Cheesy, what's up?
What's going on, cheese curds? I am threading.
No, you don't say it again.
No, I did. It's fine.
That's what
We're
got
good.
us Thanos snap. Johnny, what's going on?
That joke wasn't funny the first time.
Oh.
And
it's not even a joke. It's just a straight fact.
Your full attention should be on the podcast.
All right, you're right. I'll put it down. I'm good.
He's got all the threads. All the threads are going. I love it. Guys, jump into the Discord, n64josh.com/Discord. We got the new segment going, Players Pulse, which thanks to Crawler for informing me that was actually part of Nintendo's old podcast, Nintendo Power Podcast. I was unaware. I just rest in peace. I just looked up like what were old segments from Nintendo Power, and Player Pulse was one of them. So I'm like, yo, let's start doing this. So anyway, since they're gone, I guess we're gonna take it over. But it involves you guys. I'm gonna post questions on the daily and read your responses on the show. So if you want to be a part of the conversation that way, jump in. And this is because I can't do NPC lives every morning because my schedule's just gotten way too busy. So that being said, we are doing this in the morning because Crawler's taking off tonight, and it just happened to work out. So that's cool.
It's the afternoon for me.
That's true. Yeah, that's
You're in
true.
the future.
Yeah, I have a feeling Johnny's going to be sad that I won't be the last thing he hears before he goes to bed tonight.
Hey, I might go to sleep right after this. I don't know. Or maybe I'll just put it on in the background.
There you go. There you go. Well, before we get started, Crawler, where can people connect with you?
The best spots to find me are on a dying platform of Twitter, Nightcrawler724, and also TikTok. Same thing, Nightcrawler724, Nightcrawlers without the E. I had an Instagram made once upon a time to move over to Threads. I'm working on getting that back, so eventually Nightcrawler724 on Threads.
Cheesy, where can people connect with you?
You can find me on Threads, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram. CheesyC64, CheezyC64, and you can find me and Johnny on Communication Error Podcast.
And Johnny, where can people connect with you?
Yeah, I'm John Ebo everywhere: Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Threads, and the Communication Error Podcast. But you're going to see a lot of engagement farming threads from me because I'm going to try to get famous on Threads. That's going to be my big break.
I love it. That's great. Well, guys, you can find me everywhere at N64Josh, including Threads. And thank you to everybody that's already hit that follow button. We do appreciate it. So we're going to start off with Mario Kart tracks. The Booster Pack 5 is going to be launching on July 12th. And a lot of Wii tracks and a lot of tour tracks making the rounds this time. But some old favorites from GameCube and Game Boy Advance as well. So, Crawler, this is your first time seeing these videos, yeah, or seeing this video?
I watched it real quick right before we went live because I was mowing the lawn this morning, so I wasn't paying attention to Twitter. So, but this is what they like to do now: is they like to drop this stuff on Twitter and then force you to go to their YouTube as opposed to talking about it in a direct a week ago or however long ago it was. But yeah, I mean. We've seen the squeaky clean track. Johnny voiced a displeasure with the tour tracks. I've thought they've been good iterations when they have come.
I just feel like there's too many of them. Like I think there's 3 in this.
They are a lot. I mean, seeing the advanced courses again, it's like those do feel a little lackluster compared to like what was in 8 from the get-go with Donut Plains or whatever. I feel like that was a good reimagining. I feel like they aren't. The GBA ones just definitely do feel flat.
I like the tour courses. Like I think it's a good variety. What?
You would.
No, I mean, like I think it's nice to have something new. But I do feel like they're out of place when it comes to Mario Kart. Like it just doesn't have that same aesthetic, and it just doesn't feel like Mario.
I think the problem is in the grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe courses, there's how many now? There's 88.
30. Oh yeah. Sorry, I was gonna say 36 new ones, but yeah.
So when the new tracks come out, we only really play the new tracks for a bit. But if you were to just have it all randomized and select any of the courses, like it would be kind of a nice change to play on all the different courses. But you're playing these same 8 maps, over and over and over again when they first come out, and it's just they get kind of old.
I was a little shocked at this list, just like seeing like 3 Wii titles. That's the Wii. Mario Kart Wii is low on my tier list for my favorite Mario Karts. The tracks that they chose, I think, are stellar tracks. Like I'm cool with it. I'm still holding out hope. We've never seen a remake of Wario Stadium 64, and I really want that. I really want that track to get some love. Like it was my favorite 64 track, and we've never seen on any of the other like retro. When they go and do the remake tracks, it's never been there, and I don't quite understand why. The tour tracks, seeing 3 of them, I wasn't overly thrilled about that myself, just because again I want to be in the Mushroom Kingdom. That's where this game takes place, right? And I feel like the last ones we saw, the is it Tokyo or whatever? I think that one's actually like
Vancouver.
No, in the last
in the last one.
I think it was Tokyo, where like it at least seemed like it had a lot of good variety to it, whereas like some of them just seem like kind of like old rundown cities. Like I'm curious about how Athens is going to be, and and I mean Vancouver's right up next to me, so I mean it's kind of cool that's the case. It's like somewhere I've probably been in. Some of these places I've never been to Athens or anything like that, but at the same time, I'm not really jumping into Mario Kart to see real world locations.
Where's the Mario Kart NASCAR crossover? They could have put in the Chicago road course, right, from last weekend.
There you go. I think what I really want to point out on this video is the squeaky clean course. There's more details to it, and if you look closely, the wallpaper is the first level of Super Mario Brothers. You can see the clouds in the background. Right there, like that's the first level of,
and it's pixelated because it's tile, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. And then if you look, there's like a rubber ducky with a Mario hat. There's blooper. Like this is the like
stars on the shower curtain.
Yeah, it's just the quintessential, like this is what a Mario Kart track should be, right? Where it's like they've left Ribbon Road, which was like another like a kid's room almost, where they made the track, and this is kind of a similar thing where it's like, yeah, we could literally be racing in my bathroom based on how much Mario stuff is in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I mean the cloud fabric softener, like that's the creativity that I love.
What is that?
It says Princess Gang.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Wondering what it says, but it's a family-friendly show.
So, but yeah, that really put a smile on my face, just seeing. I love when Nintendo does Nintendo things, right? Like that's and the real world tracks, they don't necessarily feel super Nintendo. They kind of just feel like what are we doing here?
Well, it's really weird because you had mentioned like I just want to play in the Mushroom Kingdom, and I've never thought about how like lore wise they're going out of the Mushroom Kingdom and going into like our planet, I guess. Like if we really want to like decipher what's going on, is the Mushroom Kingdom is like a different planet then, right?
It's a dimension,
it's a
maybe
different dimension or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Does Nintendo refer to the GameCube as GameCube Nintendo? Like, why is it
GCN? Yeah,
because otherwise it's National Geographic Channel.
Okay. Are you making that up or
no? That's a true fact.
That is funny.
I saw that and I was like, that seems weird that they call GameCube Nintendo.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah, I've always thought the same. Did not realize it was because of National Geographic. That's great.
Yeah.
So, but Cheesy, kind of what you're saying too. Like, I mean, Mario comes out of the real world technically, right? So it almost helps me add a little more connection to those tracks because of what you just said. So I'm like,
True.
wait,
Yeah.
now I don't dislike it nearly like as much because it's like he was from the Bronx, you
Right.
know. That being said, now I want to go through the tracks and like, did they hide anything? Is there any Easter eggs that are like, this is this is where he grew up, or where like I'm just kind of curious if they hid anything like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
what, in the New York, there is the New York track.
exactly,
or whatever,
yeah.
but-
So you
yeah.
know, or would they go back and put the Punch Out Cafe or something in the just as like a
there's got to be some kind of Easter egg to the movie in the last wave, right? Like,
well, did we talk about the pipe?
what's
Did we talk about the pipe on here? Do you guys recall?
what pipe?
On the van, on Mario and Luigi's
Oh,
van in the movie.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't want to. I actually don't want to bring that up again because it really got me excited for Mario Kart 10, and you know, there we go. So there, Chrissy's saying not Pipegate over on TikTok.
I do think for the final wave they'll add some Rainbow Road because we haven't seen a Rainbow Road yet.
Mario Kart
The
7
new-
Rainbow Road was added.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, but I'm wondering if they'll add a new one.
Like a
And
like
maybe
a
they'll
tour
base it
Rainbow
off-
Road.
Is there a tour Rainbow Road?
I don't know, but I'm just curious if maybe that's what they would do. Like, because it seems like the new tracks often they end up over on tour like shortly after.
I think there is a tour Rainbow Road. There's got to be something.
I'm still holding out for a Nintendo character. And in this trailer, it says new characters will still be coming to Mario Kart 8, something like that. So we only have 2 characters left, and the way that they said it is plural. So
I mean, 2 is plural.
no, I know. That's what I'm saying. So like I doubt that
the other one will be random or whatever that people were saying.
if it is random, why is that not available already? Like, why have a random button when all the waves are out? That just sounds dumb.
There already is a random button. They would just move it over.
Is there a random button?
I think
For
so.
Mario Kart?
I don't know. I select my character and I move.
No, I don't think there is. I don't
think.
think there is.
Did anybody else watch
Is that-
Color's eyes right there? He was like,
If I'm remembering correctly, before they added the new characters, the last one's a me spot.
Yes.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe they'll add more amiibo
I-
costumes. You know,
Johnny, they just tore down the amiibo stand
I
at the
know.
Nintendo store. I think Nintendo
amiibo are dead. Amiibo are
I
dead to
think they
Nintendo.
are. I think so.
Like they don't like they're going to charge $50 for that Ganondorf, and because they don't want anybody to buy it because they don't want anybody wanting more amiibo.
They're trying to make up for all the money lost on the Animal Crossing amiibo. Which, by the way, they're still selling those cards. Those
Yeah.
cards can still be found, and they keep reprinting them.
Well, I went to the Nintendo store yesterday in New York, and they had no amiibo. Like they didn't have any amiibo for sale.
That's wild. 6 months ago, they were pretty loaded.
How many new characters are we getting? We're getting 4.
We're getting 3
3 in this
wave.
3. Okay, so yeah, there's 2 more spots left, and it is an amiibo.
Yeah.
So
2 is plural, cheesy. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I know it's plural. What I'm saying is that for us to get a Nintendo character isn't likely because it said returning characters and we still have 2 that need to come out. So, but like with this whole booster course pass, there have been surprises along the way. Like we didn't know that we were getting a new character. We didn't know we were getting new tracks. So like maybe there's a possibility. I don't know.
Pac-Man is technically in a
gonna-
Mario Kart game.
Oh, that's wild. Yeah.
from Mario Kart,
with
the arcade.
Yeah.
Would it bother anybody else like it would bother me if the Mii doesn't
They
shift
should
over?
shift it over. Yeah.
For me,
Or they should make it a
That would-
Mii
that
face.
would really
Just
bother
make
me
it a
if they
Mii
don't.
face because it's weird that it's just like a circle.
it's the
Yeah.
fifth row. It's all the Koopaling kids. So who's gonna take that spot?
They can move Bowser Jr. over
They
there.
move Bowser Jr. over.
Yeah.
Move Birdo to be next to Yoshi.
Yeah.
That would. How much would that piss people off? Just moving characters around. I don't know.
I like where King Boo is because right next to him is going to be PD Piranha. So you got like that double dash connection there.
So last wave, they added the ability to do custom item races.
True. Yeah.
Do you think they add anything that we don't know about this wave?
Fingers crossed they add more buffs. I mean, standard carts are way faster than they used to be.
So
Yeah, they messed with the balancing a little bit.
with the custom items, was that not in the trailer for the last wave?
I don't remember. I don't think it was. So.
People just found out.
I think it was a tweet after right before it came out or something, or right the day it came out.
That was cool. That's like a fun little thing that they added.
Yeah.
I got yelled at by my kids for turning on all blue shells and mushrooms.
That's just good
They're
practice,
like,
right?
what is this?
If you are in first place and you smuggle a blue shell up there, do you throw it
Yep.
and it hits you?
Yeah, there is a mode within the Mario Kart like community that you time yourself to see how fast you can hit yourself with your blue shell. Like it's
On 200, you might be able to outrun it, right?
well, you're in first, so it's
Does it go around the track, or does it just
circles
come
above
right
you
for
and then
yeah, it just circles above, and so there's a whole mode within that community where they time trial to see who can hit themselves the fastest with their own blue.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was talking with Firestone about this stuff, who's kind of been teaching me the ropes and speedrunning that game, and like I was like, what? So there's records out there. First to blue shell. You're just like that's because you have to stay in last to get it, and then smuggle it all the way up to first, because you're not just you're not doing it in time trials or whatever. It's got to be in like the Grand Prix or whatever. So it's just like, this is like life will find a way. I love how the community will just make up stuff like this to be able to keep it alive. So
I'm just excited to play Mario Kart again for one day and then never again until the next wave.
I miss playing with the community. Like I've been
I get my 3 stars. It takes me a little while sometimes to get my 3 stars on 150, mirror, and 200.
What if the twist is they're going to add a battle pass?
Jeez.
Well, that would be interesting. So I see Crafty Becky says, I miss playing with the community too. Yeah, they're coming back. They will be back. I guarantee it. It's just I'm assuming probably by August I should be able to start doing some streaming again, you guys. I'm fingers crossed anyway. So moving on from Mario Kart, the Switch 2 has been
we never get to talk about this.
The hot topic, right? But the question that I'm posing, not only here for us to chat about, but also for the next Player's Pulse, so you guys can answer in the Discord. There's a section there. You can see it in the main chat area. But what do we want from the controllers, right? The Joy-Con is obviously has its issues. If you have bigger hands, it's not the most comfortable, right? And so what route do you think Nintendo takes this time? Because if you Google Switch 2, the majority of the pictures that come up, or a number of them, essentially have a Pro Controller cut and then attached to the sides, to where kind of similar to what Crawler has there, but a little more just like the Joy-Con with a kind of like a handle coming off of it, more or less. And so what do you
that put Satisfy out of business a little bit if they did that.
It would. Yeah, it would be unfortunate for them. But at the same time, I don't see Nintendo completely going away from the Joy-Con. I think it's still going to be a thing. But one of the things Crawler and I kicked around a little bit last night when we just kind of briefly talked on it was doing multiple SKUs, to where there could be a Joy-Con with a D-pad and the handle coming off. That's not necessarily going to be something you turn sideways and use. And then the other side having the stick placement more like the Wii U Pro Controller, where it was like this, both sticks are up top and you're dropping down to hit the button, versus going over the stick. So I don't know. What do you guys think Nintendo does as far as controllers go? Cheesy, kick it off. You got the thinking cap on, I can see.
I don't know, because like you mentioned, it's like a Pro Controller that's like cut in half, and that immediately reminds me of Project Q, what Sony is doing right now.
Yep.
And I don't know. I don't think that looks very good, but if it's comfortable, that's a different argument. As far as Joy-Con, they have sold so many. It would be so weird for them not to be able to include it on their new Switch. But does that mean that the Switch isn't, or whatever the new console is, if we're assuming it's like another Switch, does that mean that it's just going to look the same? Because they have to have a way to fit old Joy-Cons through the rails.
The rail system, the rails. I mean, I think will still be in play. I mean, I'm not opposed to a larger carrying around with the Power A split Pro or whatever.
Oh, that looks nice.
It definitely.
I like that controller.
It definitely is bulkier. I mean, it's not as easy to get into a case. I mean, I think that's probably what a lot of people feel about the Steam Deck. I think it's pretty bulky. I haven't actually held one, but from what I've seen. But I mean, what the math is like 50% of the people play handheld. I mean, a lot of them are kids, but I think just if they could find a way, maybe it's an option, maybe it's not.
Sorry about the technical difficulties. Not quite sure what is. We've never had this happen before. It may be because we're doing this in the morning instead of the evening, and the internet just can't handle all of NPC this early in the day.
Well, the Nintendo ninjas came and got us because we're talking about the Nintendo Switch 2.
It could be. I'm like, currently there is a ninja right next to me with his nunchucks ready to go. And I have been instructed to say there is no Switch 2. Continue buying all of the Switches up until April of next year. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
So one of the biggest things you were talking about, Josh, is you want to see this joystick go above the buttons and the buttons move down in that spot.
Potentially, I mean, looking at what we have on screen right here, yeah, I don't like reaching over. The stick, and then they have to make the throw of the stick so short that it's not ideal for playing shooters and stuff.
Yeah, and when you think about it, I'm looking at all my other controllers around, and the buttons are directly on top of the stick because of form factor when it's just a single Joy-Con turned sideways.
Right.
Versus that's not ergonomically how you want to move your thumb to go move up to those buttons. So I could see that.
You guys play Xbox?
Yes. They're not direct. Yeah. So look at the joystick. It's like straight up versus
it's
offset. It's
offset.
offset.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. But the Pro controller's like that.
No, it's not.
It is.
It's off. Yeah, it's offset. It's not like that.
That's what I mean. I mean, like
Yeah.
the Pro controller's like that.
Yeah, so you're
I don't
more
think it
going
would
around
work.
it than over it.
I don't think it would work if they're going to use these as like Joy-Con again, where they're detachable.
So my thought is that they do multiple SKUs. They
Mhm.
basically do a single player Joy-Con SKU, and then they do like your standard Joy-Con as well.
If they could also do something like this and not have it detachable, I don't know if they'd want to make it not detachable, but
There goes the
make it-
Switch part of the Switch.
That's
But
the
make
Switch
it-
2 Lite.
but make it dockable. Like that's the problem with the Lite, is that it's not dockable. So have that baked in kind of form factor, make it comfortable, but then so that it doesn't have to switch. Like, well, it can switch to handheld, but it doesn't need to switch to tabletop, hand a Joy-Con off. But if you need that, then being the second iteration, a lot of people do have Joy-Con laying around. I have too many, but then it can still connect that way.
You
I
bring
don't
up a good point, though. And this is just concept art, right? Like this isn't something that
It's just
okay.
it's just,
Somebody, yeah.
just a quick Google search.
Yeah, for the audio listeners, we're looking at like, what this Switch 2 could look like. But how would it dock?
They'd have to
I
come
mean,
off.
The dock sits up a little bit. I mean, you can dock
I
it
mean,
with.
that would be able to dock.
You think so?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
This current picture, there's not enough space.
I can
like-
dock it with these on there.
Yeah, you could dock it with the GameCube controller.
Oh,
But-
okay.
But look at the way the GameCube controller, the wings are still level with the screen. These are down about an inch,
Yeah.
right? So I'm looking
I
at
guess
my
the dock
dock.
would have to be higher.
Yeah, it would have to be a beefier dock.
I don't know.
I honestly think they're going to keep the Joy-Con. It's just going to be the Joy-Con. Maybe a little bit bigger, and then you could still use your original Nintendo Switch Joy-Con with
We'll
it.
get some new Joy-Con that will have HD Rumble Plus, and we'll never know the difference.
And I'll have to attach it to the bottom.
Yeah.
Ultra HD Rumble.
Yeah.
Don't need any more. Has anybody played Original Golf Story? That it's enough to keep you up at night playing that.
True. True.
I still have carpal tunnel from that. from the vibration. But so the question though, like, regardless of what we think, what do
Mhm.
you want? Like, what would the perfect Joy-Con be for you and your play style?
I would like this, just to split the Pro controller in half. I kind of like how this looks.
What if that's literally what they do? What if they just take the next iteration of the Pro controller splits?
That would be nice, because I think like the Pro controller is probably their best controller that they've ever made. And yeah, I mean it's probably too big to split in half. I don't know.
Okay, so
Sony did it, so
yeah. I do like the look of it, and this is a very minimal thing. How would this work in like a carrying case? They would have to make a whole new carrying case, right? And if this is
they're
like,
going to do that anyway
yeah,
to make more money. That's how business works.
I mean, this would
make
work.
a
This
new.
God,
would work the same way that Satisfy sells you a carrying case with the Satisfy grip.
There's all new cases for the OLED and the Switch Lite, so of course they're going to sell you new cases for the next thing.
are they new cases for the OLED?
Yeah,
They launched with new ones. I mean, the official ones from Nintendo were like what, $20 or they did a Splatoon one.
Yeah.
They did a Tears of the Kingdom one, but like I still have my original one and I was able to it still fits. It's still the same
Right.
form factor, but like they sell new ones when they come out with new stuff anyway.
all I need in my
Jesus,
life.
you just don't
is-
want them to make money or something? Like, is that?
No, of course I do. I just think that I don't know, just the case itself would look a little awkward. Like, it's
Who
not.
uses carrying cases anyway?
It's-
I have like 6 of them, and I've never used it.
That's because you never leave the house, Johnny.
Did you take it on the train to New York yesterday?
No.
Are you even a Switch player? The only thing I need in my life after listening to the way Johnny talks to Cheesy is I need a video of Johnny working on something while Cheesy holds the flashlight for him. And I just want to hear him yelling at Cheesy the whole time.
Do you know how business works? No, I'm not an accountant like you. Sorry.
Are we taking? We should have bets on how long communication error goes on before communication error turns into a cage match. Like
That's gonna be our yearly
Get together.
You know, to release all the stress that it causes through the year. So we just have a cage fight.
Well, Elon and Mark Zuckerberg are supposed to be having a cage fight, so we'll see how that goes, and then maybe we'll decide from there.
Okay, I like
Yeah.
that. So that what's really got me thinking is they should just split all of their past controllers, including the 64 controller, and just have one
half a joystick.
No, the middle one has to come out of the middle of the Switch, so
Yes.
that you can still. And then we're gonna need a whole new carrying case because that's not gonna fit anywhere.
The one thing I really want with the new Switch or new console, I want themes again. I miss themes, and I do like how
the OS. You mean?
Yeah, I like how fast the Switch runs, and I get that if we had themes, it would slow it down. But there's something that's so personal about their previous consoles, but also just the like DS. You know, it becomes more personable and versus like what we have now, which is bland and nothing. Nothing happens. There's like no character to it.
They like money as well. That's a way to make money.
Yeah.
Well, and the 3DS introduced themes. The DS did not, if I remember correctly. And so with this essentially being the second iteration, maybe because I'll opening my 2DS and seeing the original Super Mario Brothers artwork, like it's essentially the artwork from the Japanese game.
Mm-hmm.
Such a massive smile on my face every time. And then the music plays and you know, like all that stuff I just love. The biggest reason for me as far as a controller like this is Splatoon. I don't like playing Splatoon and potentially Fortnite going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's tough to play shooters with the sticks having such a short throw.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would be okay with not being able to put this pro controller into a case to take it on the like. Well, I mean, the whole idea is for it to be portable, I guess. But like, I would take the time I needed to open my case, slap those things on, and be able to play, and then have to remove them again if that was the case. You know,
mm-hmm.
it wouldn't bother me all that much just to be able to play. But I'm thinking like I'm even just thinking like sometimes we've all started doing this where you put a movie on or something and then you'll also grab your Switch and like, or you'll put a TV show on that you've watched a ton and you just kind of, you know, zone out on your Switch. But I shy away from certain games from playing them in handheld. And I don't want to have to do that. I'd like to be able to, and you know, you guys are both like Johnny and Crawler. You guys both have those GameCube controllers. I would love to have an official GameCube controller that slid on to both sides of the current Switch to play Smash that way.
It actually feels pretty comfortable, like the GameCube controller. If you wanna buy one
for what, $79.99 or whatever it was.
No, they're $69.99, but you get 10% off if you use code John Ebo. So
there
we go.
There's a link. You
somewhere.
Can find it anyway.
I'll put the link in the description. Let me know what it is.
But it's actually like I thought it was going to feel awkward and too big, like handheld wise. It feels pretty good.
I mean, if you can put a GameCube controller between a keyboard or on either end of a keyboard,
that's what it looked like. That's what it looks like when you put it on the Switch. It just looks like that big keyboard.
I love it. That's great. I mean, so other than the controller, which I think I mean, do you guys agree? Cheesy, do you play Splatoon handheld? Do you find it a little frustrating or not, not quite as enjoyable?
Yeah, I think that it is harder to play in handheld, but I know a lot of people that like playing in handheld. They like having the screen up close. As far as like how does it play, I don't know. I'm mainly pro controller. So even if I am going to play not docked, I will put it up in tabletop mode and play with the pro controller.
Yeah. I also I have motion control turned off on handheld if I'm using it as well.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing about Splatoon in handheld. Like you can't really use motion control if you're like tilting this whole Switch. Like you're not gonna. It's gonna be hard to see.
Which I mean they thought about because they have different settings for handheld versus pro controller.
But if they have multiple SKUs, what they could do is they could like just have the standard Joy-Con with everything, but then one of the SKUs has like a pro controller with it.
I just want them to have longer sticks, like Josh was talking about, because playing a camera controlled kind of game with those sticks is kind of a nightmare.
The Wii U sticks were longer?
The Wii U sticks?
Yeah.
The gamepad sticks aren't that big.
What was the question?
I think the Wii U sticks are longer than the Joy-Con sticks.
On the Pro controller or on the...
No, on the gamepad.
My stuff is so dusty.
Do we think that the next console, Nintendo is going to get into like the accessibility game? Like there will be controllers that will be accessible for those that need them?
How universal is that Xbox controller? Can it be plugged in via USB and be read by the Switch?
That's a good question. I think so. I think it can.
You might have to have like the 8-bit DOE or something like that to do it, but
well, that should be the case if you can use a regular Xbox on a Switch controller. I would assume that the
accessibility controller.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming we're also going to get a new Pro controller.
With what kind of changes?
I don't know, but I again, the money side of it, I think they might just repackage the Pro controllers as like Switch 1 and 2 Pro controllers. But the Wii U Pro controller was good too. It had like 80-hour battery life.
Yeah,
but they still
going away from the 360 to the Xbox One, they didn't really need to improve anything. But going back to the 360 controller, it's like this feels like crap. And I mean, they just made form factor and button feel better. I think the internals suffered, like they cheaped out on some of that stuff because since that 360 generation, I think controllers have just had more stick drift and prone to just more internal breakdown.
Maybe they'll do what are those triggers that you need for GameCube games?
Analog.
Maybe they'll go to analog triggers.
I mean, that's what Xbox and PlayStation have. I mean, that would bring them forward with some racing titles being able to come to the game, to this console and feel a little bit better. Because right now it's just binary. It's on or off.
is it called the adaptive controller? It does
Mhm.
work with the Switch via an adapter.
That's cool.
So, but it'd be nice if it was native,
Mhm.
Yep.
you know. And I mean, because the other thing too, you've got games like Animal Crossing and stuff that don't take Twitch movements and that kind of thing. Like, to get more people able to enjoy these games is always a plus in my mind. So
It's also a new category for the Game Awards, I think, for like the past 2 years now. So it's surprising that we don't see a lot from Nintendo in that area.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. I'm looking at chat here, and Scrubbius says, to be honest, they should keep similar design and concept for the Joy-Cons. Don't break the working formula. Just bump up the quality, and please give us a pointer function. We need more arcade shooters. I'm assuming like Evil, or is it the House of the Dead, and like some of those style arcade shooters, right? Like, I mean, give us Duck Hunt for that matter.
Yeah.
You know, so but yeah, I don't think I disagree with keep the like, give us the same Joy-Con option, but make a pro Joy-Con essentially. That's for single player on the go or on your couch or whatever. That just give us another SKU, and then have that also snap together to make its own, give it a little, just like your guys' GameCube controller that you got, where you can still put it back together and play it like a pro controller.
Mhm.
But then it's just one more thing to add to the overall Switch brand. Like, make the pro controller switchable as well, so that I can play it exactly how I want, and it doesn't feel any different. I mean, yeah, Project Q may look a little bit goofy, and I love the way that people were taking the Tears of the Kingdom green goo and like making it look like they put the gamepad with the controller. But I mean, ultimately, when I sit down to play the PS5, if I want it to feel identical no matter where I'm at, that's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I mean, how many times do all of us use the Joy-Con sideways? Like, it's
0 times.
Only when they make us.
only when they make us. So yeah. So, and I see Joe is like, wait, so that's what the new Switch? No, this is just concept art. If you guys are just tuning in, we've had some technical difficulties today, but yeah, we're just looking at possible concept art is all, and discussing how we would want the overall feel and look of the controllers going forward to be. So yeah, and I like this design that we have on the screen right now. I think it would just be far more comfortable for bigger hands. But
There
yeah.
are, like, if you look at the Hori Split Pad Pro,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people like that design, and it's similar to this, but it's not as like drop down. It's more wide.
Mm-hmm.
And those come off, and they
don't have a battery to them. They're reliant on the Switch battery.
Oh, are they?
Mm-hmm.
But I thought they come off, and
they do.
You could still use them as a controller.
Nope.
No.
Same,
oh wow.
Same as the, is this Hori or Power A or whatever, the single D-pad Joy-Con. That's not battery powered as well.
Oh wow. I did not know that. So if Nintendo could do something like that, I think people will be satisfied with it. But I don't see them. But also, they have to make it look different than the Nintendo Switch, or people might not realize it's a new console.
That's a good point.
Do they want it to be a new console?
Well, if it's Nintendo Switch 2, then yeah. But if it's just like a Pro, maybe not.
The other thing that I would love to see is, if we're going to get a more powerful machine, it potentially makes competitive gaming more viable. And I want to see pro controller with paddles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's another one out there. What is it called? Is it Power A that did it?
Power A has 2
Yeah.
buttons on the back with them, and same with the 8-bit Do Pro controller has back buttons.
Yeah, but if we get an official like Pro Elite controller, that'd be dope. Because I love this the Elite Xbox controller. It's phenomenal. I mean, it's how much was it? $200, $300, something like that. I don't remember. It's
that
expensive.
I think that one was 200, the one you have, but I think they're down to like 160 or something like that now.
Yeah, I would pay it. I would get a
as long as it holds up. And I've had good luck with my Switch Pro controllers holding up pretty well. I've had to send in a pair of Joy-Con to get fixed. But I mean,
yeah,
whatever technology they put into this GameCube thing, it's supposed to be anti-stick drift. Whatever.
And I think the newer Joy-Con are better. Like I don't think like ever since the Zelda
Skyward Sword, right? Yeah.
I think they kind of changed how they were made. But yeah, that's the biggest question mark with these controllers. Like, will they break after a couple months of use?
Yeah, because I think Spawnwave took those apart after the Skyward Sword ones came out, and they were better on the inside. But yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing with all these companies. Like I've had problems with Xbox Elite controllers and stick drift, and they addressed it a little bit in the second one, but like I still think they're cheaping out on what kind of stuff they're using on the inside of premium controllers. So as long as they're going to charge a premium price, they need to make a fully premium product. And I've been happy with the Pro controller, but if Nintendo wants to give us something a little bit more feature heavy, then I wouldn't be opposed to it. And then that could open up the door for more competitive style gaming, like Josh was talking about.
So this is interesting, guys. It's from the Nintendo Switch Reddit. It says Nintendo president apologized over Joy-Con drift, promised improvements, then won lawsuits, and are still selling defective controllers. And it says, hey, all, I wanted to raise awareness to a major disappointment that Nintendo's Tears of the Kingdom launch has provided. Reports on the web suggest that some of the new Tears of the Kingdom Switch Pro controllers are suffering from a defect like the Joy-Con drift problem was. In June 2020, Nintendo president Furukawa publicly apologized for the mass defect problem that riddled Joy-Cons on the Nintendo Switch. There's an article to Polygon, and then mentioned that Nintendo is aiming to continuously improve their products. A later study in December 22 would state towards the cause of the drift. Says the implemented dust-proofing cowls offered insufficient protection against dust and other contaminants, and the plastic circuit boards exhibited noticeable wear. This goes on here. This is a really oh my goodness.
I say it seems like they're also jumping all over the place, talking about Joy-Con, but then saying Tears of the Kingdom Pro controller was having problems.
It's a lengthy post, so I won't get to all of it. But the first comment says, just the latest reminder that video game companies are not your friends.
Correct.
Here's the problem with people. They're actually using the Tears of the Kingdom Pro controller. It's just supposed to sit there and look pretty.
Mine's plugged in. I'm using it. My Smash one is sealed up still because that was double white handles. I wasn't going to get that all messy.
It's an $80 paperweight.
Yep. It's still in its box somewhere.
Nate says, LOL, I'm pretty sure you have to get the Cheeto dust off your hands before having controllers. So
whenever I make a video about like Joy-Con drift, people are like, oh, you're just being gross and dirty. And it's like that's not how any of this works. That's not what causes the drift.
Yeah, it's just that it is an issue that they will need to, and that they're hopefully fixing. I mean, that I thought this Reddit article was going to have a little more a little more, be a little more eye opening. But it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like there's really any conclusive evidence if Nintendo's fixed it or not, you know. And the fact that they said they're defective and then went on to win all their lawsuits, it's kind of like, what if they're defective? Why are you fighting? Like, what?
Well, didn't they win the lawsuits on like technicalities? Like the one was like kids sued them, but they needed like a parental. There's some weird like loophole that got it thrown out.
Who knows?
Yikes. Going through the comments, it says, this guy's like, I'm in my mid 40s. Allow me to offer some advice. If someone doesn't explicitly say that they will fix a specific problem, they won't. And if they do happen to explicitly say it, there's a chance they still won't. In the case of Joy-Cons, let me be clear. Nintendo will never fix the Joy-Con Drift or the Switch Joy-Cons and the Switch Lite. They will swap out sticks and related hardware for the life of the product and then end their repair program someday, which they just did in Japan. There was a whole program for it's almost like Apple Care. And so it says it'll probably be much cheaper to do the repair versus redesigning the Joy-Cons, retooling their manufacturing for them, and retailing a new hardware SKU. And the next comment is so gross, but it says Ford did the math years ago or decades ago and figured it was cheaper to pay families of dead drivers than recall their exploding Pintos. It's always about the money.
I say Hyundai's replaced my engine in my car twice. So the engine.
Yeah. So
companies just pay to fix their mistakes.
Capitalism.
Right.
Nice.
Well, I mean, it's a little, I've heard of, I think it was Jaguar. This guy bought one. It broke down. They came out and fixed it.
Console or car?
Like the car.
Okay.
He asked for the bill and they were like, we don't have any record of your car breaking down. Like, they did not want that getting out. They were just like, no, there's no, we can't bill you for something that didn't happen. So it's like, okay, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I've sent in Joy-Con. Have you guys all had to send in Joy-Con?
Oh yeah.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I have Drift, but I've never sent them in because I'm lazy.
It was pretty easy. I mean, they ask you what color they are. I mean, you're definitely not getting your Joy-Con back, but they do a good job of sending you the appropriate Joy-Con back.
I just buy a new Joy-Con. That's my how to fix Joy-Con Drift.
So have you picked out the pastel ones then?
No, not yet. No.
I used my Smash Joy-Cons a little too much, and they ended up with drift. So,
did you get the Smash ones back though?
I never sent them in. I was too afraid.
Oh,
like I don't think there's enough of those in the wild to. I'll just fix them myself. So, well, there we go. I'm looking at the timer. I'm like, we still got 30 minutes, but we did 30 minutes prior to losing the first half of the
Josh
show,
has got work to do today now.
I got a lot to do.
Thanks, Restream.
So, yeah, thanks so much. So we appreciate you guys being here live and hanging out. And Cryptic does ask, when does the communication air segment start? We need more Johnny and Cheesy arguing. That was earlier in the show where Johnny was like, hold the flashlight.
It was when Cheesy doesn't understand how the mechanics of a business.
The mechanics?
Make money.
Were you a car person?
Go ahead. You guys just have at it here. Crawler and
no.
We'll bounce out.
Go. I don't know if I have the energy.
Yeah, it's early in the morning for me.
I need lunch.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you again for listening, and we will see you guys in the next one later.